Okay, so you know what's funny? We all do it, or we've all done it. Probably countless times, honestly. But we never really stop to think about it, like how strange it actually is.
Yeah.
Kissing,
Oh, yeah.
right? It's just this fundamental thing that humans do.
It really is.
But if you really think about it, it's pretty wild.
When you actually start to think about all the stuff that's going on,
Yeah.
like a kiss, it's we think of it as skin on skin, but
Yeah.
there's a lot more going on than just that.
Yeah, a quick peck or like a long makeout session.
Actually,
It's just weird, but in a good way.
it's fascinating when you actually start to kind of dig into all the layers of it.
Right.
So we've got a bunch of information today that looks at everything from like the immediate biological effects of kissing to like the broader, cultural shifts around kissing specifically in the Western world.
Yeah, we're looking at things like what's happening inside of our bodies
Yeah.
the moment our lips meet. But then also how things like movies and social media are shaping the way that we see and think about this whole experience.
Yeah, it's a very multifaceted,
It is.
multi-layered kind of phenomenon.
It is. And as always, our goal is to just, cut through all of the fluff and
Yeah.
pull out the really interesting and useful stuff,
That's right.
leaving you with an actual understanding of this topic
Exactly.
without feeling like you just sat through,
Lecture. Yeah.
some college course.
Yeah, just a nice
Yeah.
deep dive, a nice express route to becoming a well-informed kisser.
Yeah, think of this as a way to become a connoisseur of kissing.
Exactly.
All right, so let's just get right to it.
Let's do it.
What are the unexpected benefits beyond just,
Yeah.
romance
Yeah.
and the obvious stuff?
Mm-hmm.
What good does a kiss actually do for us?
Well, one of the things that surprised me was that kissing can actually give your immune system a little boost.
Ooh.
Yeah, there are studies that suggest that when you swap saliva, you're essentially introducing like new bacteria to each other.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's like a tiny microbial exchange program,
Right.
which is actually kind of gross, but it can help your body like
It's good for you then.
build resilience.
Right, it toughens you up.
Yeah, yeah.
That's pretty wild to think about. A kiss is like this tiny, delightful way to
I know.
boost your immune system.
It's like I don't know, a tiny little vaccine or something.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, what else on the health front?
Okay, so beyond just like the immunity boost, kissing is a fantastic stress buster.
Oh, okay.
So when you engage in a kiss, especially a really passionate one, your body floods with all these like feel-good chemicals.
Yeah,
So think oxytocin, it's often called the love hormone.
I've heard of that.
Yeah, you got dopamine, you got serotonin,
Yeah.
and all of these have a really calming effect on the body, and they can really help to melt away stress.
So that feeling after like a really good kiss where you just feel so relaxed and like all is right in the world.
Totally.
That's not just like
It's not
it's
just,
not just in our heads. That's,
it's biochemical.
yeah.
Yeah.
What about that feeling where your heart starts to race?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Is that good for us?
So that increase in heart rate during a kiss, it's not just, some like romantic cliche.
Right.
It actually gives your cardiovascular system a little nudge.
Okay.
It improves your circulation.
Yeah.
And there's even some evidence to suggest that there might be a connection between kissing and lower blood pressure over time.
Interesting.
So it's like a mini cardio session.
With a bonus.
Yeah.
Right. I'm on board with that.
Sign me up.
And I also remember reading something about kissing and pain relief.
You did, yeah, you remember correctly.
Yeah.
So the endorphins that get released when you're kissing aren't just about pleasure.
Okay.
They also act as natural painkillers.
Oh.
So for like little aches and pains, headache or muscle tension, a kiss might actually offer you some relief.
A kiss a day keeps the doctor away.
Maybe. Yeah. I mean, obviously for serious pain, see a professional.
Of course.
But
Yeah.
little headache, maybe a kiss will do the trick.
Yeah. All right. So physically kissing
Uh.
seems to be doing us a lot of good.
Yeah, a lot of benefits.
But what about mentally and emotionally?
Oh, yeah. Psychologically, kissing is a really powerful tool for strengthening emotional bonds. So
Interesting.
that physical closeness, it really reinforces the connection between partners.
Yeah.
And it fosters those feelings of intimacy and security.
Right.
It's like a nonverbal way of saying, like, hey, you're important to me.
Yeah. It's like an expression of, I'm here with you.
Exactly.
We're together.
Present in the moment.
Right. And I can totally see how that feeling of, closeness
Yeah,
would also impact our self-esteem.
absolutely.
Right.
So when we experience physical affection, like kissing, it can definitely contribute to a stronger sense of self-worth. Yeah.
And confidence, That feeling of being desired and connected to somebody can really positively impact how we see ourselves.
Feeling loved and wanted
Yeah,
is a huge confidence booster.
it is.
So are all those happy chemicals that we were talking about?
Yeah.
Do those also improve our mood?
Yeah. So those same biochemical reactions that dial down your stress, right, they also generally just boost your mood and your sense of well-being.
Okay.
So kissing can be a really quick and enjoyable way to brighten your day.
Right. So we're not even talking about like romantic love here.
No, not
It's
necessarily.
just a kiss from anyone who cares about you
Yeah.
can really improve your mood.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
like that. All right. So we've been looking at kind of the personal benefits,
Yeah.
both physically and mentally.
Mm.
But now let's step back a little bit
Okay.
and look at the bigger picture.
Yeah.
Why is kissing such a significant act in our societies across cultures?
In a lot of cultures, kissing serves as a really fundamental symbol of affection.
So it's a way to communicate, love, care, trust,
Yeah.
whether that's between romantic partners, family members, or even friends.
Yeah.
Depends on the context, obviously.
Sure.
But it's really this, almost universal language of connection.
Right. And even if like the specific customs
Totally.
vary,
Yeah.
it's still like
This basic instinct.
this symbol of care.
Exactly. And beyond just being a symbol, a kiss is also a really potent form of nonverbal communication.
Right.
Think about it. A lingering, passionate kiss says something very different.
Then a quick peck.
Exactly.
Right.
Or like a gentle kiss of sympathy.
Right.
You can say a lot without even saying a word.
Right. The type of kiss and like the intent behind it
Yeah.
totally changes the meaning.
Totally.
So it sounds like kissing is, incredible. All these great benefits.
A lot of advantages, yeah.
But like most things in life, there's got to be a flip side to this, right?
Right. There's always a flip side.
What are some of the risks that we need to think about?
Yeah. Unfortunately, there are definitely some risks to consider
Okay.
when it comes to pissing. So on the health front, the most obvious one is the transmission of diseases.
Yeah.
Kissing involves swapping spit. So
Yeah.
it can be a very direct route for spreading infections like the common cold or the flu.
Totally shared bodily fluids
It makes sense.
equals shared germs.
Yeah.
Okay, so what else in terms of health risks?
So more specifically, mononucleosis, which is also called the kissing disease.
Oh, yeah.
That is spread through saliva.
Okay.
So that one's pretty obvious.
Right.
And even the herpes simplex virus type 1, which is the one that causes cold sores,
Yeah.
that can be transmitted through kissing, even if somebody doesn't have an active sore.
Oh, so even if you can't see it,
Exactly.
you can still get it.
Yeah, it's still possible.
Okay, so it's like we're building immunity over time,
Right.
but in the short term, we're also vulnerable
Totally.
to these other things.
There's a trade-off.
Yeah. Okay. Is there anything else we need to think about when it comes to our health and kissing?
There are a couple less common things.
Okay.
Some people can experience allergic reactions from kissing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like if you're allergic to peanuts
Okay.
and your partner just ate a peanut butter sandwich.
No, that makes sense.
Or certain ingredients in cosmetics can also cause allergic reactions.
Interesting.
And then another kind of strange one
Okay.
is that the exchange of bacteria can sometimes disrupt the balance of your oral microbiome.
What is that?
So that's like the community of bacteria that lives in your mouth,
Oh, wow.
which can actually lead to things like cavities or gum disease for certain people.
I would never have thought about that.
Yeah.
That kissing can affect your...
Your oral health.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Okay, so we've talked about some physical health things.
Yeah.
Now, what about psychological risks?
Okay, so this is where it starts to get interesting.
Okay.
In relationships that are more casual or non-committed, kissing can sometimes lead to like emotional attachments that aren't necessarily reciprocated.
Yeah.
So that can cause attachment issues and, ultimately lead to heartbreak.
Yeah.
Sometimes the physical intimacy of a kiss can create a sense of closeness
Right.
that isn't really matched by the reality of the relationship.
Yeah. So one person might feel more connected than the other person,
Exactly.
and that can lead to problems.
Exactly. Can lead to problems down the line.
And I think we also need to think about, the possibility of misinterpreting intentions,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
right? Like one person might think of a kiss as just a friendly gesture,
Right.
while the other person thinks it's like a romantic advance.
Exactly.
And that can lead to some awkward situations.
Oh, big time. Yeah.
That's happened to me.
I think we've all been there at some point.
Yeah. And it's not fun. Okay, so we've talked about personal risks.
Yeah.
What about like bigger picture societal risks?
So in Western societies, we've definitely seen a trend toward normalizing casual intimacy,
Yeah.
and that includes kissing.
What used to be something that was reserved for like serious romantic relationships
Yeah.
is now pretty common in casual dating, even just as a form of greeting,
Right.
which leads to this question of, are we diluting the meaning of a kiss?
Yeah. If everyone's kissing everyone,
Yeah.
does it lose its specialness?
Exactly.
And I think the media plays a big role in this too.
Huge.
Right, because we see movies and TV shows, especially like romantic comedies, where it's like this big dramatic kiss
Wait.
that changes everything.
Life-changing.
But then on the other hand, we have reality TV and celebrity culture,
Right.
where casual kissing is just like a normal everyday thing.
That's like nothing.
And that has to be influencing younger generations.
I think so.
Right, because they're seeing...
Is what they're growing up with.
Exactly, and they're thinking, oh, this is just what you do.
Exactly. It's normal.
So if everyone's kissing everyone, how do you know when a kiss is actually meaningful?
Yeah, it's a good question. Right. And then we've also seen a rise in things like cheek kissing, greeting kisses,
Yeah.
like among acquaintances.
Yeah, more physical touch in general.
And that's not necessarily a bad thing.
Right.
But I think it does raise the question of, you know, is this diminishing the specialness
Yeah.
of a romantic kiss?
Yeah. It's an interesting question, for sure.
So if a kiss is just like another everyday interaction, does it lose its power?
Yeah. Does it still have that, like, deeper meaning?
Right.
I think one of the consequences of this increased casualness could be a diminished emotional value.
Okay.
So if kissing becomes just this routine act that's disconnected from any deeper feelings,
Right.
its power as an intimate expression could fade.
It's like anything else in life.
Yeah.
When something becomes commonplace, it loses its specialness.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then, of course, we need to remember the health risks.
Right?
The more people you're kissing,
Yeah.
the higher their chances of getting something.
The odds go up,
Right.
statistically.
Yeah, and then also just the impact that this shift is having on our ideas about romance and commitment,
Yeah.
right? If we're so used to physical affection without deep emotional investment,
Yeah,
it really challenges traditional relationships.
for sure.
And then it begs the question of, what does intimacy actually mean when these physical expressions
Aren't
aren't exclusive anymore?
Right.
So I think, you know, overall, kissing is clearly this really fascinating act
Oh, yeah.
with so many layers.
So mad.
It's not just some spontaneous romantic thing.
It's more than that, yeah.
There's real biology and psychology behind it.
Yeah.
And then it plays such a huge role
Yeah,
in our social and cultural interactions,
for sure.
especially in the Western world.
Yeah.
And of course, it comes with its own risks, both for our physical health,
Yeah,
but also for the meaning of our relationships.
exactly.
And it's also really interesting to think about how the meaning of a kiss
Yeah.
is changing over time.
It's constantly evolving. Yeah, you know what a kiss means to us today.
Right.
Might be different from what it meant to, our grandparents
Totally.
or our great-grandparents.
So I guess my final question for you is,
Okay.
thinking about all this, how do you think that this increasing casualness of kissing is shaping your own relationships
Yeah,
and the way that you think about intimacy?
that's a good question.
Like when a kiss is no longer this special and exclusive act,
Yeah.
do you think we're gaining something in terms of like openness
Yeah.
and casual connection, or are we losing something
Yeah.
in terms of like,
Depth. Emotional depth.
yeah, emotional depth and like meaning?
I think it really makes you think about the value that you place on a kiss
Yeah.
and what it really means to you.
Yeah, it's something to think about.
For sure.
Okay, well, this has been another really fascinating deep dive.
I agree. I've learned a lot.
Me too.
Yeah, it's really interesting to think about all these different aspects of something.
Like something we do all the time.
Yeah, that we don't really think about too much.
Yeah, well, thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
And we'll see you all next time
See you later.
for another deep dive.
Bye.